Whether you're coming from a boat or a stand, welcome back to the Lodge. With your hosts, Matthew Dredska.
Wait, no, that's not what I meant. No, come on, no. Dang.
And Patrick Mudge.
I really don't know what to say that's funny because I'm not a very funny person.
True.
Yeah.
Don't tell me they're gone. I won't have nothing left. Don't tell me you're strong and you got no regrets. If thinking about us, thinking about then, thinking about how it could have been, don't cross your mind. So if you're doing fine, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Back to the Lodge is brought to you by Icy Tech USA.
6:03 p.m. in West Tennessee. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Nick.
And we are back to the Lodge. We're here for episode 4. We're now a month into it. And in a very special week, as it's Nick's birthday.
Yeah.
He's like, don't say it. Yeah, we're going to blast that, dude. I mean, you're our sound engineer, and it's your birthday.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
So you're what, 21 now?
A couple of years more. 26.
You're just, yeah, we'll go with that. So, well, I can't have him cue up birthday music, so he's not going to do it. But man, we're going to have a great episode tonight. We got some call-in interviews with the one and only guy that started the TV fishing and hunting.
Yes, he did.
The man, the myth, and I really mean the legend, Babe Winkelman. I grew up watching Babe.
Yeah, so did I. Absolutely, I did.
Nick probably didn't.
Well, no.
I mean, I definitely think he was more of a northern staple than he was a southern because, he's more of a, pike
fisherman,
fish,
walleye,
perch. I mean, he's definitely more of a northern guy, but, I mean, his work radiated everywhere. Obviously, 1,000 episodes or something
1,000 episodes on TV.
Yeah.
And he's had Lyme disease, I don't even know how many times.
All of them, all the time.
Yeah. But not only that, but I mean, even getting Lyme disease so severe, he's actually put a lot of money in his own research into treating, what's the proper terminology for the chronic Lyme disease? Where's that at?
I think that's it. I think you're trying to throw chronic wasting disease and Lyme disease in the same hat as what that sounded
there's
like.
a Lyme disease that's more lifelong.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely different types,
Yeah. So, I mean, his research towards that.
And just awareness of.
Oh, my gosh.
Building just the awareness for, I think has been a big mission.
He's a huge advocate. I mean, it's even been in his shows and episodes over the years. And he's been on the air since, what, the 70s, 60s?
Something like that. So,
forever. He's been on TV forever. And that was a Sunday morning staple was, turn on the TV and if you wanted to watch, bass fishing and pike fishing and, from North America to Canada. And I mean, even though Canada's still North America, but I mean, he's fished it all. Cold weather, deep water, you name it. But super, super long career. And
he's also has a big, obviously we think of him as mostly a fisherman, but he's also done a ton of hunting stuff too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just outdoor in general, just big time.
And he's done a lot for veterans.
And I think he's working on he's building his new website. And I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, he, when you talk about Back to the Lodge and what that means and, the whole purpose of why we do what we do is to show that mental health aspect of getting outdoors and how the values ties together between, the outdoor celebrity, the veteran, and music, and especially country music, because that's, we're Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm, True Country. So, it's a perfect blend, and more people get excited, and things are still getting crazy again across the country. I mean, it's just another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing. And, last night we were able to just check out and be like... Sort of,
because this newest thing is basically my hometown.
It is, yeah, it is. But at least you're able to get your mind off of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For the night, and,
I know to what you're referring to.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Because I still have war wounds from that.
Yeah, you do. Rookie.
It really looks worse than it feels.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. That's sort of a deep dive there.
But in any case, after Babe, one of our sponsors, which you've heard of, I'm going to try to delicately
Sponsor
say
and
this.
friend.
And friend. Well, no, beyond that,
No.
co-veteran,
Yeah, brother. Yep.
brother in arms,
Special brother.
CEO and founder, entrepreneur, executive, and philanthropist.
Yeah, great guy.
Super great guy. Derek Sisson. Derek is the founder of Merica Bourbon, which we've talked about on the show. They sponsor the show. Great bourbon, available all over the country.
Affordable quality.
Absolutely. And he's got some new products rolling out.
Yep.
He's talked of the beer in the past, Merica Beer, which is still in the pipeline, maybe out already. Truly don't know. I'll have to remember to ask him. But Derek is just, we were at SHOT Show back in February, and I couldn't get down there. My schedule was busy. He asked if I could come down. He every year with the Recon Marine Association or whatever it is, he takes guys that are in wheelchairs out hog hunting in Texas, which the farmers have a major wild boar hog population problem that's destroying the farms down there. So he's able to help the farmers continue to do their farming and get disabled veterans out in the field. And man, he spares no expense when it comes to the equipment to get these guys out in the field, even being wheelchair accessible and getting them out there. It's amazing. It's a great time. They have a great time. I got to watch the videos and see some photos of it. So, behind the scenes, Derek does so much to give back. He is a former Recon Marine. Super great guy in the Special Forces community, and to do what he's doing. Love working with him. Love to partner with him. So he'll be the second guest on the show. But we're going to get to a break. And then let's not forget other sponsors, since we're already talking about sponsors. Mossy Oak, which, get outdoors, get mossy, right? Mm-hmm. And then Higdon Outdoors, boys up in Paducah, and those guys with their decoys, man, they're just, again, great people. They're still supporting Ducks Unlimited, which they probably always will and always have. But, the DU events are kicking off, and you see Higdon involved, and, just people are, they're still doing a lot behind the scenes, despite everything going on, despite COVID, despite the social economy and everything else in the elections. People are just getting it done, man. And that's awesome. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put into getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything, from defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon. We built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. Merica Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
And we are back to the lodge. So last night we did get outside.
Yeah, we did.
And oh my gosh.
As we've told people before, I'm a fairly avid bow fisherman, been doing it for a few years now, and Patrick's heard me talk enough about it that finally we pulled the trigger and we got him out on the boat last night. And Patrick talked about his experience a little bit, but I can see on the look on his face he's pretty pleased with last night.
I was happy. I had a blast. Absolute blast. If you ever thought about getting out and bow fishing, it is so much fun.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been doing it And like everybody, I mean, not everybody. There are a lot of people like Benny, who we had on last week, who never go past the fun fishing. They never take it to that tournament level. It does take sort of a person who is just on the inside competitive. And we definitely saw it come out in Patrick last night. It was just me. It was me, my teammate Alex, and then and Patrick. But he saw me and Alex in our competition between the two of us, and he stepped right in there. And
it was intimidating.
I mean,
you guys are good
for a guy who's never done it before. I don't want to give him a bigger head than he has, but you did well, man. You did well. You put 20 plus fish in the boat, and that it
was really like 30. But.
Well, that 20 plus.
Yeah, plus. No, I was just thrilled. The first few were just garbage when I shot, and then when I finally got the first one, I'm like, okay, the curse is gone. Now we can get into this and just hold that spot. And I was just like, oh, I got another one. You're like, what the heck?
Ended up with about 106 last night, and half a night, which me and my team, we always joke around, if you don't put 100 fish in the boat, it wasn't worth going out that night.
Man, it was a blast.
So, you got to cut your teeth a little bit on it. I think you're a little bit addicted already at this point. It's been most of our conversation today has been about last night.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely, you can get addicted real quick.
Seems like you got a little stinging sensation from last night.
I did last night. It's gone now. I mean, it looks horrible. But yeah, I mean,
we always talk about the dumb things I do. Now it's your turn.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, Alex went to shoot at that gar. And that's the other thing I love about it is you're restoring the ecosystem because you're getting rid of a lot of the invasive species, not just the gar, but especially in other parts of the country.
We put a bunch of silvers in the boat last night. Those Asian carp that jump.
And, over in Virginia, that you can get rid of snakehead. Yep. And, a lot of invasive species that are just destroying the ecosystem. A lot of people don't understand that they're killing off the regular ecosystem.
Especially those ones that are so difficult to catch on rod and reel, which is what people typically think of, fishing. Because you need a fishing license to bow fish. We like to call bow fishing, it's force feeding. That's what you're doing. You're force feeding them a fiberglass, arrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Patrick said, you get to, for the most part, select what you're shooting at. So we got into some silvers last night, and that's always fun for someone who has never been around the hecticness of airborne silvers.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was so much fun. But yeah, I did learn that when the fish shoots from, I was on the right side. I was on the starboard side for the most part. And when Alex went to shoot at one of the fish and he missed, it shot to my side on the right. So like an idiot, I didn't realize, I've shot a bow and hunted for many years. And you don't move as much. You don't move anywhere near as much. So you're always on the move. You're always changing. You're always moving. And the fish don't really get spooked by that very much. But I went to turn real fast, and I, turned my wrist a little too far instead of my entire upper body. And I snapped the bowstring right in my, we'll call it the elbow pit.
Yeah.
Because it's like your armpit with the elbow.
Elbow to pit. Forearm is,
yeah,
it's rough looking.
Now, if you thought that sucked, 10 minutes later, I did it again.
Yeah, if you thought he made a noise that first time, that second time, he really let you know what happened.
The rest of the story is not appropriate for FM radio. But yeah, it was...
And look, we gave him a hard time about it, but the fact of the matter is...
You didn't have to. I didn't hear anything except for my mind going, you idiot!
It happens to everybody. Like you said, the hecticness of bow fishing and just constantly moving and bouncing and until you slap yourself a few times with a string and sort of learn the hard way.
And truthfully, it's the first time in my life I've ever had to, aim and target a moving object where, if you're deer hunting or something, you're usually waiting for the animal to stop. The fish could be doing 20 knots. It's like, okay, I'm going to follow it.
And most of the time you have seconds to process fish.
If that.
Arrow needs to be released. Yeah. I mean, you have, 2-3 seconds. So for the people that don't necessarily have the muscle memory yet, these things happen.
But luckily enough, I still got that fish.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I got it. And I got it. It was, whew. So yeah, the inside of my entire left arm looks like I was shot with a beanbag from a 12 gauge.
I'm doing a little mental checklist. I think that we crossed 5 species off the list last night.
Yeah.
And man, at the snakes we saw last night.
Ooh, there was at least 40 of them. And they were everywhere.
Speaking of how this show, we always talk about the outdoors and just taking a second to reflect on what you're looking at. We shut the big motor down at one point because we were watching the snake in the water. Mm-hmm. And although I know this happens, I've never actually see one actually do it. It was a banded water snake, and it was fishing, and it was forming like these little figure eights almost, and it was creating this little wake in between the edges of the figure eight, which would trap a small minnow into like a little whirlpool right there, and then it would try to snap at those whirlpools. And we sat there with the big motor off,
even a couple minutes.
Still the lights on, just watching the snake fishing, which was, I don't know, maybe 7 feet from the boat. It
was borderline genius.
And then all of a sudden it just snatched one. And it was a really cool, where, you know, we're fishing off of an airboat, so they're loud, and we have the music cranked. But for that moment, when we turn the motor off, turn the radio off, and you're hearing the sounds of the water, and then you're watching, it was, and you know, finally everybody on the boat was quiet watching it too. It was just one of those sort of serene moments of
it's
the night.
National Geographic in real life.
Yeah. If I would have known that that's what was about to happen, I wish I would have recorded it.
Yeah.
But I didn't, because I was in the moment. And that's a big thing with the outdoors. It's falling into that moment.
And that's the way our generation thinks now, is like, man, I wish we recorded it. But to just stop and forget your phone and just go, I'm going to watch this. I mean, we miss out on some of those things. So yeah, I think not grabbing your phone, you know, you may have missed it if you would have grabbed your phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just the cool things. And like you said, for him to do that and create that whirlpool and like suck that minnow in, man, that was so cool.
And then we ended up, and you know what, truthfully, in the years past of me seeing untold numbers of snakes in the water bow fishing, I have seen snakes doing that. But I thought they were like fighting the wake of the boat, or you know what I mean, like half spooked. I didn't
just
never
like patrolling.
I never processed what was happening until last night when we watched it, and then after that, not 100 yards down the bank, we see another banded water snake doing the same thing.
I mean, they were even out in the middle of the lake. I mean, way far from the banks, and it's like, wow. I mean, you know, they hunt at night.
Right.
That's inevitable. That's a given. But last night was beautiful. The sun, the sun. The moon was
lack
up.
of sun.
Yeah, the moon was up, and there was plenty of star. It was just natural twilight last night. And between that and obviously some of the lower lights, the LEDs on the boat, it was just serene. And I mean, the snakes were out everywhere. At one point, we almost had one come in. Oh, no, two. We had one that tried to crawl in the boat right in the beginning. And then at one point, there was a branch that had one on it. And we didn't see it and got really close to it.
Really?
I was like, okay.
Within inches. And of the years and years and hours that I've spent on bow fishing boats, I've seen many snakes come check. We call it checking the boat. They come up, they sort of bump their head on it and realize they're not coming in. They turn around and go away.
And I'm not worried about the water snakes, but you're so many of them that you can't sit there and really look at every single one. And it's like, okay, did that cottonmouth just come in the boat?
The 3 or 4 that I have had in the boat have all came out of trees. And I'm not scared of snakes. They don't, spiders is the thing I don't like. Snakes don't bother me.
We had plenty of those last night too.
But when you get those, I mean, they look, from the water moccasin to the banded water snake, they are so similar. And at night in the light, it's sort of hard to process real quickly what they are, unless you can check for those bars under their mouth and stuff like that. They're very hard to process what they are. So middle of the night, you're fishing and you hear a thump and you turn around and you see a snake going crazy in the boat. I mean, it's very difficult in that moment to process. Should I be worried? And luckily, we didn't have any in the boat last night. But
overall, that was a great time. Highly encourage it. I had to lose focus for a second. Nick's better half brought that cheesecake in, and I'm sitting there staring at that cheesecake. Like, this fat boy likes cake. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that.
Of course. It's only the second time I've made one. I don't know if it's good.
Well,
I'm sure it's great.
I'll be the critic.
We will sample it and let you know. But now, did you make that for the dinner, or did you make that for Nick's birthday?
Nick's birthday.
Okay. See, you're loved.
Dude, speaking of the birthday, dude, I have had one heck of a day. Like, great day.
Well, that's good, because usually when you say that, I have to sit down.
Oh.
I'm busting on you. All right, so we do want to remind people, we're doing the giveaway. We're doing it again. We're going to continue to do this.
It's all giveaways.
Stop it.
We're going to guys, we're going to give away Nick next episode.
Oh.
You know what? I'm down with that.
Starting bid 32 cents.
Whoa. Hold on.
Reserve is set at 50.
Somebody's saying no over here.
Hold on just a second. Even if I was forbid, 32 cents? Come on.
Tree fitting.
It does seem high. You're right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But anyway,
Giveaway on this cooler.
so we are still doing the cooler, the 120 quart red Icy Tech. But here's the catch. There's always a catch, but at least we're going to tell you what the catch is. You got to like and share the Facebook page, and you have to tune in live, because if you don't tune in live, you miss out. So that's what makes it a little bit harder, but that's how it works. And you're going to win a cooler. So if you liked and shared the Facebook post today and the page, or either or, that's fine.
Right.
But comment on there, done or shared or, whatever. So we know it's you. It's just a little easier to do when we're in the station. And we'll have you entered to win. And we're going to draw somebody tonight.
Yep.
And if you're still listening, you got 5 minutes to call us, or 4 minutes. Depends on what song Nick picks. So really, you're at Nick's mercy. And if you don't win because it's only 4 minutes, well, then it's Nick's fault.
It's always Nick's fault.
Are we back to this again?
We'll go back to episode 2. I have no problem with it. Last week was the giveaway show. This week, still to be determined. And this might be the pre-pain show, because my arm's already hurt, and I got surgery in the morning on my mouth. I can't wait. So if that goes horribly wrong, Nick, you're going to have to start talking more.
Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. Don't make me do it.
He sounds like a Marine.
Sort of smells like I'm going to have to lead this if you're gone.
Smells?
And Nick's just going to...
No, he smells the cheesecake.
I'm actually not even sure if Nick's a real person at this point, or just a button we keep hitting of just odd sounds.
I don't know, but I'm about to start pushing his buttons because it's his birthday. So we're going to have some fun with this. But hey, you know what? It's early enough. Where are we at? I'm looking on here next. Okay, yes, I see it. We're going to take a break. We got a heck of a song that we're going to play next.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Scooter Brown. Well, it's not called. It's called American Son by Scooter Brown Band. We just learned of these guys last week. And the Scooter Brown Band, the guy's a combat vet. He's a veteran too.
Yes, he is.
And I think he was a Marine, if I read correctly.
I'm pretty sure.
And Derek knows.
Well, and Derek was the one who sort of...
He introduced it,
So
we checked out his music, and, God bless his memory, but he opened for Charlie Daniels on tour.
Yes, he did.
For the last year or so, maybe more. And we checked out his music, and we're like, wow, this is awesome. So when we take this break, we're going to play American Son by the Scooter Brown Band. You can find them on all the music platforms. But we're also going to give away a tumbler. So if you want to win a tumbler, this is not the giveaway show. But if you want to win a tumbler, give us a call at 866-708-FARM. That's 866-708-3276. Rules still apply that if you raised us or had more than 2 beers with us or live in our homes, please don't call. You're just taking up the line. So 866-708-FARM, 7th caller. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. Get him. Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntingdon, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
100.9 The Farm, and we are back to the lodge. Congratulations to Kim from Lavinia, Tennessee. She was our 7th caller, and she just won herself a tumbler.
That's right.
Just like that.
It still blows my mind how quick those phone lines light up.
I know. So, yeah, if you're calling now, we had a winner. The lines will just ring busy. But we should take them off just to make people call you. And you know what? We give everybody your cell phone number and tell them to.
Let's do that. How about let's not?
Let's do that.
We'll just go ahead and breach that out there. Put it out there for everybody. Is she cutting that cake? Oh, no, it's a steak. I can't see on that side of the monitor. I'm like, oh, man, I smell that cake. I like cheesecake. So anyways, just like that, win the tumbler. We're going to give away that cooler. So, if you liked and shared, you're tuned in listening, you've got way more chances to win. So if you do it now, you still have time because we'll probably do it usually in the last hour.
Yeah.
So what can I say? We'll give away a cooler. But pretty shortly here, about 3 more minutes, we got to get ready?
Yep, 3 minutes.
So we have Babe Winkelman calling up, and he's calling in from, oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Minnesota.
Yeah, Minneapolis, just outside of Minneapolis.
Yep. Lives on his ranch up there. He's got plenty of land and beautiful home. Super great guy. I met Babe. Oh, has it been 2 years now? It's been almost a couple years.
Did you meet him at ICAST?
ICAST.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Super great guy. And, he's involved in so many, even beyond the outdoor space. I mean, he's involved in environmental cleanup and, just so many things. The guy is like, he really, if I had 10 hours in my day, he's a living encyclopedia when it comes to the outdoors.
And I just love people that take the platform that they built and then find a way to do good with that platform. There, especially in today's world, it's all political agenda stuff. Yeah. And he's as long as I've been researching and looking into him and knowing who he is, he's always used his platform to help. And that's been really cool.
Absolutely. So I don't have my notes, but we had the names that we announced last week that we drew for the cooler. I didn't call, but I don't know where to put my notes.
I remember one of them.
The name? Oh yeah, what was that name?
It was Jasmine Cook.
Yep, that was for the cooler.
She was the last name.
Yeah, because we did draw 2.
Yeah. So,
and I knew that the first one that we drew, I think it was like a Seth or something, and it was a longer last name. I'll get the notes. I think I got it on the truck.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, you got to be tuned in to win, and we're gonna give that puppy away. I'm hoping we give it away tonight. Now, we do want to make a quick announcement before we get to Babe. Is not next week,
okay,
but the week after is the 19-year anniversary of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guests that we have confirmed.
Oh, you gonna say his name already?
Yeah,
Get people fired up.
All right, we'll make them wait. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put into getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon, we built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. Merica Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
100.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge tonight. Our first guest, Babe Winkelman. Babe, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great. How's everything up there?
Hot.
So
it'll be 90 the next 3 days, 90 plus.
Wow.
In Minneapolis, at least.
So what have you been up to the last several months with everything going on?
Working.
What are you working on?
Well, we're changing our company over completely. Babe Winkelman Productions. we have left television, and we are on now all streaming video.
Oh,
but,
wow.
I mean, our audience is going to increase dramatically. We're currently on a website called Maven that has 150 million unique visitors coming to that site per month on an average.
Wow.
And then they're tied into a coalition of 226 other platforms around the world. And through that whole coalition, we are into all smart TVs in the world as well. And there's billions of them. And now we're adding in other channels like Roku and Amazon Fire and Apple and several others to complete it. And by this fall, we will be... the signal's live right now. If anybody wants to see our shows, they can go to getoutdoorstv.com. It's getoutdoorstv.com, and it'll take them right into the site. Then click on topics, and up will come all the topics. Click either hunting or fishing, and there's our show. And what's cool about it is they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they're 100% free for all viewers. No apps, no subscriptions, no nothing.
Now, while that sounds like a good plan to binge watch, how many fishing episodes have you done in your life?
Well, we've got 100 and some shows up right now. Half of those are hunting and half fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And we got more than 800 more old shows that we're posting. We started with fishing several years earlier than in 1980. And I brought hunting back to television in 1987. That was a combination show. Mm-hmm. It was part hunting, part fishing, and part general outdoors. Because I was trying to run fishing 24 or 12 months a year, and the audience kept saying, God, in fall we're all hunting, or most of us are hunting. Give us a hunting show.
Yeah.
Well, the word was we couldn't do hunting on television because of Dan Rather's Guns of Autumn thing he did in 1977, I think it was, or 78. Anyway, I was running on Superstation WGN and the USA Network at the time, and I brought the evidence back from the audience to them and said, here's what they want. And I said, what do you think? They said, well, build us a pilot. We don't want to see any bloody, gory kills. And I said, neither does any good hunter. Mm-hmm. Any hunter worth his salt takes his time to learn how to use his weapon as well as he possibly can. So when he makes a shot, he knows where his bullet's going to go. He wants a clean kill. He hopes to see it drop in its track.
Certainly.
And I said, that's the kind of stuff that we're going to do. And they said, I built the pilot, and they said, hey, looks great. Bring it on.
So the
next year, we went to Outdoor Secrets 100% hunting.
Wow.
And that was in 88, and that one's been going since then.
But overall, hunting and fishing, I mean, would you say you've done 900 episodes in your life? Or I'm pretty sure that it's way beyond that even.
It's somewhere between 900 and 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So far.
Jeez.
And we've got 2 more shows. We've got all the filming done for them. They've got to be edited right now. 2 more series, one of good fishing, one of outdoor secrets. And then we'll be filming this year for 2021. And that'll be new programming.
Now, you've been fishing for longer than I've even been around. So, I mean, when it comes to being the legend of fishing, that's you. Of all the years you've been fishing all around the world, what was your most memorable fishing experience?
Oh, my God. That's pretty tough to say. I had one trip. My wife was with, actually, up in Alaska. We were going for halibut up at Dutch Harbor. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. When we got there, we stayed at the Grand Aleutian Hotel. They had invited us up. They were owned by the big fishing cannery business in town. And when we got there, they had made a special menu they had printed up for my crew and guests and so forth. And I had one of the regional presidents from McDonald's with, and the guy from WGN, and the guy from Gaylord Broadcasting. as my guest. Well, the menu, one of the items on the menu was all the king crab, fresh king crab, never been frozen, that you could eat, either down in the restaurant or have it delivered to your room service.
Wow. Wow.
And it was amazing. One cameraman at night. He had about 4 pounds of crab delivered to his room and ate nothing but crab. After about 3 days, he was bound up like a bull's butt at fly time. He learned you got to have a little something more than crab in there to get her to go through the system. Well, anyway, we went out and it was crazy. The first day, we went to a place he called the Chicken Hole, the guide Kiwi Thompson, and for hours you couldn't get a bait to the bottom without getting bit by a halibut.
Wow.
The biggest one we caught there was 206 pounds, but and the guy from McDonald's caught it.
Wow.
And just that, I mean, it was like the highlight of his life. You know, Jesus, to see a fish that size.
What were you guys doing?
Well,
were you deep dropping?
We were dropping jigs deep, anywhere from 180 down to 360 feet of water.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Well,
and that was probably before electric reels.
Yes, this was all hand reels. Believe me. And you take a 3-pound weight with a grub on the back and a hunk of squid.
Yeah.
And you reel it up. Just that from 360 feet of water, and it'll give you a workout.
Yeah.
Anyway, the third day, we went to an area where Kiwi Thompson was the guide who guided the guy who caught the current world record halibut. And I caught 3 fish that day. The 3 of them weighed about 1,100 pounds or a little better.
Golly.
Man. The biggest one was 9 feet long, some over that, about 5 feet wide, about 2 feet thick, bigger than a regulation-sized pool table.
Jeez.
And as we were fighting it at the boat, it puked out a 10-foot-plus diameter octopus.
Wow.
And when it did that, the fish went crazy.
Wow.
I mean, crazy. And when they had a derby going on, so they wouldn't allow us. Generally, if you get a big halibut, they're big, strong fish. You get them to the boat if you're going to keep them. You shoot them in the head with a shotgun and slugs, or you harpoon them with a big harpoon, and you kill them and you bring them in that way. Well, we couldn't, nor could we use a gaff on it because of the rules of the derby. No one could touch the rod and reel. I had a free hand land the fish. It couldn't touch the gunnel of the boat or railing of the boat or nothing else, or it was a disqualification. So I had to just put it into it and freehand these puppies. And when you're talking about a fish that's down 350 feet or better, that size, that's quite a job.
No. Yeah, and
we got the fish in, we got it up, and by the time the day happened, and the radio communications of the captain knew we had the new record. The year before it was 270 pounds, I think, was the biggest fish caught, or 290 pounds. And this fish, after it puked the octopus out, we brought it back in and laid on the back of the film boat for about 8 hours, drying in the sun, because we couldn't even put it on the boat that we were on. We had to put it on our chase boat to have room. Once we hung it up on the scales by the tail, all the press was there in town and so forth. 2 more chunks of tentacles of octopus fell out of its stomach. One of them was 39 inches long, broken off on both ends, and the other one was 36 inches long, broken off on both ends. That's why we guessed, and we're pretty certain that we're correct on it, that the fish was, or the octopus was bigger than 10 feet in diameter.
Wow.
We've seen it happen in the water.
I'm surprised it was still hungry for the squid at that point.
It was crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, after the pieces of octopus fell out, the fish still weighed 411 pounds.
Goodness. Holy cow.
And I caught another one that was 5 inches shorter than that, and another one that was 9 inches shorter than that. So one was about 350 or better, and another one about 3 1/4 probably.
Golly.
Huge fish. I could not land another fish.
Oh, I imagine.
This was all on the same day?
All the 3 consecutive fish I caught were those 3 fish, and the other 3 guys fishing with me never had a bite. We were fishing so deep. That was 320 to 360 feet where I caught the fish.
Yeah,
and there's big rock pinnacles on the bottom. Well, these guys and I've explained to them exactly what I was doing. I said, you've got to get that, you've got to feel those pinnacles just lightly, go up over top of a pinnacle, and then drop down and get it to the bottom. Those big fish are resting on the bottom, but they're close by these pinnacles. They're in amongst them. Well, these guys weren't very good at jigging, and they were either hooking the rocks and breaking their line off, or once they got sick of doing that, then they'd reel it up too high, and they weren't down by the bottom. And while I caught those 3 fish, which took a few hours, they never had a bite.
Wow. I know a lot of people don't understand when you're that deep, if you're using a nice heavy braid, how well you can actually still feel at that depth. It doesn't have that stretch like the mono. And you can actually, at 300 feet, you can still feel when you're at bottom or you're bouncing off a rock or mud, or it's pretty cool.
We had 80-pound mono on.
Holy cow.
That just shot that down.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it changed it. This was 1997. Braid had not gained a lot of popularity by then yet.
Right.
Yeah, heck, after the first 1 or 2 fish, I was already thinking about a chair and some chocolate cake. I don't know about a third one.
Did a sturgeon show out in Idaho? This fan, Jim Spickelmeyer was his name, got in touch with me and said he was a construction worker by trade, a block layer, but he had a jet boat, and he did a little guiding on weekend. Would I like to come fish with him? Catch these big giant white sturgeon. And I had never done that before. First day I caught 5 of them that weighed about 1,400 pounds. And that on the 5th fish, my muscles started giving out. My arms started shaking. I couldn't do it. This was 5.5 straight hours of hanging on to one of these big things in a 17-mile-an-hour current.
Wow.
And it was just a nut show. Anyway, that show aired. He had 8,000 some people get in touch with him from 7 different countries, including the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
I still do a number of songs by the Rolling Stones, and to think that the Rolling Stones were watching my show was just the coolest friggin' thing I can tell you. I mean, it was just cool. But it changed the economy of that entire section of the state of Idaho. 2 years later, Jim talked me into coming back and doing a lunacy thing. He said he was trying to get me to come back because, I mean, it changed his business. Now he was no longer a block layer. He was a full-time in the guide business. When we got back there, he had 8 new jet boats and 7 guys working for him, and the other boat was his. And then he had a 16 or an 18-passenger big jet boat for running Hell's Canyon on the Snake River, just on a boat ride kind of a thing. The motel had doubled in size. The restaurant had doubled in size. I mean, it changed the economy of that whole section of the state. And it was cool, and he was trying to get us, everybody was trying to get us to come back. And he said he had the bungee jumping of fishing going on. I said, what's that? He said, babe, we've got guys catching these giant sturgeon out of float tube. You guys know what a float tube is?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's an inner tube with a canvas seat. Only you put your feet through the holes in the canvas seat, and then they put your swim fins on. So you ain't going to get your feet back out of there, and you can't get at them. And they talked me into doing it. I told him at first I wouldn't do it, and we spent the first day and a half. And then he was calling me and my camera or producer, was trying everything. He said, "This will make the greatest show ever," and so forth. Man. So I finally agreed to do it. Put on a set of waders. Next fish I hooked into, they strapped me in the belly boat, and that big sucker took off with me. And he's just pulling me around, and it almost rolled me over about 10 or 12 times because it's trying to hang on to the fish, and you're facing forward. Mm-hmm. And it would want to roll the tube over. And I was laying back and best I could and still hanging on to the fish, and it was crazy. And finally I realized if I flipped the rod and reel upside down and then fished it backwards over my left shoulder, now I couldn't see what the hell I was doing, but at least I could use my swim fins out in front of me for like ballast to keep them from rolling me over.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, Spickemeyer, you guys get your butt out here in a boat. Because I said, if I get rolled over, I'm just going to be rolled over upside down, will not be able to right myself because these fins and the thing and so forth, and I'm just going to be dead. You guys better get out here and be on top of this. Well, if you want to see the funniest fishing show that's ever been, we have it on the front page right now, our landing page of our website, Winkelman.com. And on that landing page, they can just click on and watch the show for free. It's nuts.
Now,
it's nuts. At one point in time, you see the river going, and all of a sudden, here that sturgeon comes pulling me through the frame. He's pulling me so far fast, I'm backward, fighting him over my shoulder. He's kicking a 6 or 8 inch wake off of the tube on the top of the river, pulling me that fast upstream. It's crazy. It's funnier than hell.
Well, that's definitely a story that we wouldn't have. But
was one of those greater than another, or a trip where I took my kids on their first bluegill of their life and watched their eyes get big and just giggle and laugh, and they could see them spawning and spinning around and biting their bait. Every one of their shows, everything you do in the outdoors is a gift and a tribute to what the Creator has given us here. They're all good. There's nothing more fun than taking some of your kids out and watching them get so excited to see a bobber go down and get a bite.
What are you talking about? We still do.
Know, how do I get my kids into to the outdoors, Well, when you take them out and they're very young, go find the fish ahead of time and then come and get them. Don't let them sit there for a few hours while you're looking around trying to find something to catch. Mm-hmm. Get that done ahead of time the first few times you take them out so you can let them immerse themselves in getting bites and catching fish and how much fun it is. And then they'll start being willing to endure the hunting of fish process with you, which you need to do, and that's how you get them hooked.
That's some pretty good advice.
Anybody who goes fishing, the most important thing to them is one thing, getting a bite.
So, well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Babe Winkelman with his experience with Lyme disease. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Get him! Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
When you purchase an Icy Tech cooler, Not only are you getting the best and original Rotomold cooler for your barbecue, your kid's graduation party, or maybe even the boat, but your proceeds from that purchase go on to help Gold Star families receive grief counseling retreats so they can heal and get a little piece of their heart back. So they can have the same quality of life that we share. Icy Tech, USA.
100.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge with Babe Winkelman. And, Babe, we were just talking about how to get the little ones outdoors. And I think that we want to talk about that again for a second. That was some pretty sound advice. And that was, go out and do your work. Find the fish first and get those kids to get that bobber in the water. I think that's probably some of the best advice I've heard in a long time. And it makes a lot of simple sense. But,
well,
go ahead.
Pat, it's difficult with the kids because there's a fine line there. And I screwed up. I have 5 daughters, and I screwed up with my daughters. I did too much of find the fish first. Pretty soon, they're thinking fishing is just going out to a spot, and you catch the hell out of them.
No.
Well, it doesn't work like that. The key to catching fish is learning how to hunt fish, learning how to find fish. And once you know how to find them and you start to understand the bigger picture, that everything in God's creation here happens in patterns. The crappies spawn about the time that the lilacs bloom every spring, etc. The turkeys are gobbling when the dogwoods are blooming. There's things on both sides you can see that can give you hints ahead of time where to start looking and so forth, but you need to involve them in the hunting of fish process too.
Absolutely.
So they understand the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Hunting deer is not about walking out to the woods and just, there's a deer, and killing him.
Yeah, that's never
not what
happened.
It's about the hunt. It's about becoming part of the woods, and unfortunately, there's some little critters running around in the woods that are hunting us.
Yeah, depending on where you're at. And honestly, I can say the older I get, and this started probably back in my late 20s, early 30s, it was the time before the shot and the time after the shot was actually the most enjoyable time of the entire day. And the memories that are made during those times, sometimes, well, most of the time in my case, was more memorable than the actual shot itself.
When you become part of the woods, that the critters don't know that you're there, and you can sit them at observing them, doing what they do. That's the coolest. My youngest daughter, took her new boyfriend out on the turkey hunt this spring at the ranch. They didn't have any luck with turkeys, but in front of them they watched a male and a female rough grouse for an hour and a half go through their whole spawning ritual.
Wow.
And the grouse were right in front of them and didn't know they were there, and they never moved. And they just were hypnotized by the beauty of it and the gyrations that they go through. Everything has its own rituals to spawning. And those are cool moments. The turkey hunting sucked that morning, and they had a wonderful day just watching other critters in nature.
Yep.
That's what's so nice about it. It's hunting.
It is. That's the most, you get a little bit from National Geographic and Discovery Channel, but sitting out there in that blind or that stand for hours on end, you see so many amazing things.
I love it. People ask me the question that you asked me at first there, what's, your favorite fishing trip? All of them.
Yeah.
If you'd have asked me what's your favorite fish to catch, my answer would have been the next one I'm catching.
Well, we probably could have asked you what was your least favorite one, the worst one, but that probably been either a funnier story or a sadder story, so I didn't want to push my luck.
There's been some of each. I got to tell you one. My father was such an old school gentleman, born in 1922, and they spoke German in their family, where German descent, until he went to first grade. And just a hard-working farmer who with a doctorate degree in common sense and an 8th grade education. But quite the guy, and he loved to hunt and fish. So as I got later on in life, I started taking my dad all kinds of different places. And he was so proud of me. He thought I was crazy when I was going to give up the construction business and sell out and go into this. He thought I was absolutely crazy. And then later on, he understood.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we fly into this one lake, up to Reindeer Lake, and then they've got a special lake that they're going to fly us into. It's 100% catch and release. And this was one of the earlier pike trips Dad was on with me. If you understand hunting pike and you have good fishing glasses on, glasses that allow you to see into the water that are polarized, you can spot a lot of those fish with your eyes at the right times of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're on this lake and I spot a number of fish. Dad couldn't see them. So I said, Dad, cast out that direction and I'll tell you what to do. Cast as far as you can and then start reeling the spoon as soon as it hits the water. Just keep it underneath the surface and reel about 3 feet, let it drop for a half a second, then reel some more and keep doing. I'll tell you when to let it drop. Because I'm watching this fish. And he throws it out past it, and the fish turns and sees it right away. The first time it dropped, the fish came over and wham! I said, set the hook, Dad, you got him. So I've seen the whole thing with my eyes and told him what to do, and bam, he's got a fish on. Well, it turns out it's the biggest pike of his life. And we brought it into the boat, and Dad did so good, and he holds it up. He only had one finger and a thumb on his left hand. He got the other 3 torn off in a corn picker accident on the farm. So and this is a big fish. It's about 26 pounds or so. He's holding it up, and this is the grandfather himself, and blah, blah. He just did a fine job. Well, when I spotted that fish, I seen 3 other big fish as well. We're done with the scene. Now him and the guide are going to take the fish off and release it. I turned around, get back up on the front. I'm starting to look for these other fish. And all of a sudden I hear this, boom. I look back, and the pike is laying on the bottom of the boat just doing the dying quiver. And my dad is standing there with a wooden oar in his hand. He'd hit that puppy right between the eyes and killed him. I said, Dad, this is a 100% catch and release lake. They told us that when we went here. You remember that this morning. He said, I know, but this is the biggest pike I've ever got. And he said, if them sons of think I'm going to throw away the biggest pike I've ever caught in my life, well, then them sons of got another thing coming. Because I'm taking this fish home with me. Holy, okay. Now what do I do? Well, we smuggled it back into the camp, and I got the ganglers there, and I explained to them we'd made them lots and lots of money, and they wrapped it and froze it, and we smuggled it out of camp so the other fishermen in camp wouldn't see it.
Oh, man.
But I'll never forget the look in my dad's face when I turned around backwards, and there's that fish laying on the boat, just quivering, and he's standing there with that wooden oar in his hand like, you make one more jump fish and I'm going to whack you again.
If you said anything, I think he was going to swing at you, too.
Oh, God. It was an amazing moment.
Now, just as a disclaimer on Back to Lodge, we do not condone this. This is Babe's story.
No, I didn't know what they were going to do to us.
Oh, jeez. Oh, and you just, at that point, what are you going to do? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And Dad got that fish mounted. He had it in his gunsmithing office until he passed.
Well, I'm going to apologize ahead of time for this, but I do want to shift gears. And I think it's important, and I know you know it's important, but I want to talk about your experience with Lyme disease and what you're doing now about it.
I was down in Kansas turkey hunting, and I got bit by a tick down there and wound up getting Lyme disease. But I knew the symptoms. I knew the other aspects of the nuances of the disease and knew that I had gotten Lyme disease before I got back from the trip. So I called my doctor. I work out a deal, and when I find a doctor, and I've went through about 3 of them in my lifetime, that I really, really like, I make friends with them, let them understand my situation, because I travel so much. So I just called the doctor and told them what was going on. They had a prescription of doxycycline waiting for me when I got here, and I caught it in time, and it wiped out the Lyme disease for me. Well, as life went on, I've had Lyme disease now 4 times. I have 5 daughters. Jasmine's had Lyme disease twice. Carly got Lyme disease, and then they gave her a false negative and said she didn't have the disease. And I said, "That's bull. You have every symptom." I said it was a false negative. It was a lousy report. The CDC right now with what they're putting out, and I'll tell you that in a minute, is committing murder. There's no other way to say it, because they're telling them information that is so bad it doesn't keep any ticks off of them. It gives them a false sense of security, and they're going outside and getting bit anyway.
Wow.
It's really, really, really sad what's going on after I dug into it. But Carly got Lyme disease and was misdiagnosed. My older daughter, Amy, who lives in Brooklyn Center, which is a big suburb of Minneapolis, there's a county or a Brooklyn Center park about a block and a half away, and she walks her dog down there and walks the trails in the park. And she got Lyme disease there. She went into the doctor and told him, "Nope, you don't have Lyme disease. You just got the flu." 2 days later, she got the rash and went back in there, and then he put her on it. And so we've had 2 negatives in amongst us, but that's just the amount of cases of Lyme disease in our family. And Lyme disease is one of 8 different diseases that are fatal to human beings. One of them is called Bartonellus, and there's 17 different subspecies of Bartonellus alone. And Powassan is another one. It is the most deadly. It is the least common of all of the diseases that are tick-borne. But Powassan can kill you in 3 weeks. The bacteria from them, or the pathogen, immediately attacks your brain.
Well, let me ask you this question, because we're coming up to the end of the show. How can people find the information that you've done and put out there on Lyme disease?
Go to Winkelman.com. That's our website. Right on the landing page of our website, there's a big 3 or 4 inch square thing. It says Babe Winkelman's Tick-Borne Illness Information Center. Tap on that, and it takes you into an entirely different website that lives inside of our major website, and it is just on ticks. It tells you everything about every kind of a tick, all the symptoms, all the diseases, all the problems, all the cures, all the products you need to do it, so forth.
Well, let me ask you one last question, Babe, because we're coming up out of time after we go to sponsor here. What advice would you give somebody, if you can go back in time, or even right now, what advice would you give somebody who's sitting at home thinking about getting outdoors and just hasn't made that decision yet?
Education. If you want to get into hunting, learn how to shoot a gun. Learn not only how to shoot a gun, but how to handle a gun 100% safely at all times. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a shotgun, a rifle, a pistol, black powder, whatever it is. The same thing is true for a bow and arrow, because they can all be lethal, or a crossbow. Mm-hmm. Learn how to do right things right. Don't just go in there, I could do it myself. That's a great attitude, but if you're doing the wrong thing because you've got no education on what you should be doing, you're probably going to screw things up. And when you're dealing with weapons, that can be lethal. Now, a hook and an eyeball is not particularly a lot of fun either. So they've got to use their head and learn and realize that it isn't just you got lucky and today you got some more bites than you did the last time. No, you happen to stumble on a better group. Learn how to hunt fish like you hunt deer or anything else. And think about it in terms of hunting fish, because all critters are opportunists. They're moving around their environment constantly looking for the best food supply that they can capitalize on. They got a time of the year to grow, they got a time of the year to sustain life, and they have a time of the year to fatten. And those three things, whether it's a fish or a deer or whatever, are the things that drive them to be doing what they're doing at any given time throughout the year.
Absolutely. Well, babe, we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We certainly appreciate you and everything you've done.
Well, you're very, very welcome. I have just one other statement to make. I wish that I had the time and situation to take every veteran and American, or every American veteran that we have, and help them one-on-one, take them out on trips one-on-one, or inspire other people like myself to get us all working together, because the average person in America takes our servicemen and women for granted. They don't realize that these people not only put their lives on the line, but many of them give their lives for being able to live in the United States and the freedoms that we have here. And those people need to be hallowed, if you will. God is going to kind of do that himself, but they need to be not only remembered, but they needed to be treated well and taken care of. You don't know, people don't even know, the average American, what PTSD is. They don't understand how it can affect you. They don't understand so many things. And I wish, and I applaud what you guys are doing so much, because our servicemen and women, whether it's service in the armed forces or services on the police forces, it's the same thing. They're putting their life on the line every time they walk out there.
Amen.
And that's not an easy thing to do. It takes a special kind of person with a special love for their country. And I wish I could do more to help them. And I'm so proud to work with you folks, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Well, we thank you for that. We'd love to have you back again. What an honor. You're listening to Back to the Farm. I just screwed up my exit. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything, from defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon. We built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. Merica Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
100.9 The Farm, and we are back to the lodge. What a pleasure to have Babe Winkelman as the first guest for this evening. Man, he's been everywhere, got the T-shirt, done that, and then some.
I mean, I just like to have a portion of his life where, I mean, what was it? Since the 80s, he's been an outdoor personality, traveling, hunting, fishing his entire life. I mean, that's...
The heck you think I pay you for?
Oh. COVID needs to go away so we can start doing that traveling.
So let's see. You've been to ATA. You've been to NWTF. We've been fishing. I don't think we've been hunting yet.
I want one of them big halibut. That's what I want now.
That'd be cool. Halibut, man. You know, it's too bad they don't have charter boats for like Opelio. That'd be kind of cool.
Nobody wants to put that kind of work in.
I would do it. I mean, if I knew I only had to do it for like 3 days or a week, yeah, I'd do it. No problem.
No, you have to greenhorn for a season and
cold and miserable.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I mean, come on. We're from the northern states.
I still don't. People say all the time, you live in the South now. You're from the North. How did you deal with the cold? Well, it's super simple. You go out, start your car, go back in the house till it warms up.
I didn't do that.
And then you wear a jacket. Down here, I can't take off enough clothes to be prepared for the heat.
They have a word for guys like you.
Oh, they do. Many of them. Many words.
Soft. No, but I mean, yeah, we got luxuries now. You got a remote start. But you ran out and started.
There was no remote start when I was still living up there.
Yes, there was. Remote start's been around since the early 90s.
I wasn't like bougie like that. Didn't have that kind of stuff.
BS. You can get it for $99.
I had to crank by hand the motor over.
Man, look.
I had to go feed the horse and get her going. But none of that's true. None of that is true.
Churn the butter. But in any case, yeah, I mean, he's had a great life. I think I would say that we're trying to get there, and we've had a lot of great trips and a lot of great experiences. And Nick's just now kind of like joining in on this ride, so he doesn't really know what to expect, but he knows we're going to pick on him quite a bit. And speaking of picking on you, it's your birthday.
Oh, no.
But we just had that amazing cheesecake that your better half brought in.
Yeah.
And
it was
I
good.
emphasize better.
Oh.
You push buttons, but she doesn't push buttons.
I will have to agree. She's better.
And she can cook.
She can. That was homemade cheesecake.
I know. That was pretty good.
It was. And it was her second time ever making that.
Well, and for her to make cheesecake for your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And, one of the things that Matt and I do, and a lot of guys in our group, but now that Nick's kind of part of the family, we have to pick on each other.
Emphasis on pick?
Mm-hmm. So I think it's time that everybody here in the studio and the station's coming up. And I think we're all going to sing happy birthday to Nick live on the air because it will make him turn red.
Isn't it weird that like the guy who is actually the singer-songwriter isn't going to be singing and all of us clowns
I know, but you know what? There's people going to be in their cars driving home from work right now. And you could just go, look, these guys are nuts. I'm changing the station. You could do that. Or you can just join us in 5 seconds of craziness and sing along.
Oh,
so here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nick. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, guys.
You're saying the look on his face is I'm going to stab you. Oh, Lord. We have too much fun in here, don't we?
At the end of the day, I got the best friends in the world. I really do.
It's nice that he thinks about us like that already.
I know.
Should we tell him the truth?
Nah.
I'm trying to be sentimental here.
Wrong crowd. Read the room, Nick.
You just you got in the car. That was 4 weeks ago. You've put the seatbelt on. We haven't even put this in drive yet. He would be like, who in the heck are these guys? How did they meet them? And how did we end up on a radio show together?
Right.
There's some people we could blame, but we won't do that.
Oh.
So anyways, 2 weeks from now, the 9/11 episode. No, I won't make people wait any longer. I thought about, maybe we'll just go.
I concede either way. I mean, you could.
Let's concede on this one.
Okay.
So, the week of 9/11, which our episode will be on September 9th.
Correct.
Great friend of mine who I met several years ago, speaking at a benefit up north, Tim Brown. Tim Brown was one of the fire captains that was in Tower 2 during 9/11. He worked for the Giuliani Emergency Response Team. He was one of the leaders in charge of the response inside the World Trade Center on 9/11. If you've ever heard his story, he's done a TED Talk. What
I don't even want to spoil alert. I would encourage you to go to YouTube and look up Tim Brown's TED Talk. The perspective, and I don't want to take away from him being on the air, the perspective of Tim being in Tower 2 when the first plane struck the building and everything that happened, from breakfast to the mezzanine to getting response teams in, and every single one of his best friends from that company that went in and lost their lives that day. You know, some of it's a little graphic and some of it is real. I mean, it's all real. And, you know, never forget. It's 19 years. Next year, God forbid, COVID goes away, or at least changes the availability of doing events like this. But next year being the 20th anniversary, Tim has spoken at many places. But beyond all of the credentials, Tim is a true great friend. He'll message me, or I'll text him and, hey brother, Merry Christmas, how you been, how's the family? He's just a great, down-to-earth human being that you don't see. And a couple years ago, we were in Philadelphia. We were speaking. It was actually a Michael Strange Foundation event, raising money for them. And he told me then that he was part of the prosecution team from the terror cells from 9/11 that were funding and planning it. The trial started last January, but due to COVID, the case has been on hold through federal courts. I mean, you talk about a great human. I mean, just the selfless sacrifice of his life dedicated to this cause. I can't stress enough. So we will have him here in 2 weeks for that episode. So that's one guest that we can go ahead and announce now. So you're not going to want to miss that. Set a reminder on your phone, your calendar, however you need to do that. You're not going to want to miss that live episode, because the live episode is going to have the full content. Uncut, unedited, the long version of that interview. And that's the only way you're going to be able to hear it, is to hear it live. So tune in that week for sure on September 9th at 6 p.m. Central here in Tennessee. And you can listen to it anywhere. So find us on backtothelodge.com, or you can go through our links through social media. But the first week of September, so before that episode, we will also release on all of our social media platforms and the website that the show has been picked up by not just a lot of the podcast platforms, but also some possible other FM stations throughout the United States. So once we get all those finished out, you'll be able to listen to it maybe in your neck of the woods, especially if you're in the Midwest area, in the North.
Yep.
We've got some FM stations looking to syndicate up there. And then, of course, it'll be available on all the major podcast platforms like iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all that will be out there first week of September. So kind of relaunching it, but we'll put all the content out there. It's all getting edited and cleaned up, and it'll be launched in so many different platforms. I can't even sit here and name them all. We're truly blessed that all that has happened in just a short period of time, but we're grateful to bring these stories to you in your homes, your cars, and at work or at dinner, and you just want to kind of see behind that curtain. So let us pull that curtain back and kind of show you some more ways to get outdoors, because that's what we're here for. I had another topic I wanted to talk about, but I'm still thinking about that cheesecake. It was so good.
I am so full from
of
the
what?
From the oh my God. Specifically right now, food, but from the steak at your house from Nick's birthday to
that was your
now
birthday
the
dinner
cheesecake.
too, technically, because
It's not my birthday. It's not my birthday. It's Nick's birthday.
Oh,
Thank
Saturday is
you.
your birthday.
Thank
Stay
you. It's
tuned to
Nick's
our Facebook page on Saturday, where we will share pictures of Matt on his
and
birthday.
look, this
They're
all
just as
started on
equal.
Patrick's birthday, where I posted a super flattering photo of Patrick.
But
while
let's
we
tell
were
people
fishing.
what really happened.
No, that's the truth. That's the whole story. Every bit of it accurately portrayed in that one photo. And then after this break, we will... I was going to spin it away from that.
After this break, what?
We will push on with the rest of the show and not talk about the true story that happened while
Oh,
crappie
not
fishing.
at all. Not at all. Here's a bit of advice to anyone listening. If you're going to make fun of somebody for how they posed in a video or a photo, make sure they don't have a camera in their hand, because somehow you became the person that did that.
Patrick has this when we went crappie fishing with Chase earlier this was it springtime or
Yeah,
whenever
it was back
was.
in like April.
Patrick's main mission that day was just to basically roll a camera and get some footage for Chase, get some footage for us, that kind of stuff, and just sort of announce our buddy Chase Petty, who is a I guess semi-professional, professional on the professional
crappie,
trail crappie fisherman, I didn't know he was going to film the whole thing. I mean, from boat going in the water to boat coming out of the water.
To you having to use the restroom.
To me having to use the restroom. And, I mean, he tried to get another video of it last night. I'm not exactly sure what this is all about. Maybe it's a Navy thing. I don't know.
Okay.
But irregardless, check that video out because there's some funny clips. And there's even... there's that video we can't show.
We didn't release. Well, you know what?
No, I don't know how you do it yet.
We could release it on the Back to the Lodge platform.
Sure. Edited.
I think it is edited.
No, it's not.
What part is it?
We'll watch it again. In the next break, we'll watch it again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nick could do that.
Yeah, Nick could do it.
You could edit out some of the language. Yeah. Well, no, it's Facebook.
Yeah, man.
Well, unless you screen recorded it and then sent it to me.
Now you're using words I don't know.
Oh.
Why would we have to do that?
Well, if it's Facebook,
oh no, it's not on Facebook yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot it. I did a blooper reel from that day. And Matthew has a potty mouth, so.
Nuh-uh. Sorry, Mom.
Your mom probably is listening to you.
I'm certain she is.
Yeah, so maybe we'll. Yeah, that's how we can sneak that little. Because we wondered what we would do with it.
No, we didn't necessarily want to just put it on the Icy Tech page.
No, but it was for us just to kind of have fun. And it's like, wow, that video was better than the original.
There might be some other ways to do it too, where we can put it maybe just on our YouTube channel or.
No.
He said
no. But you know what? You definitely want to stay. You want to check the Back to the Lodge Facebook on Saturday, and probably Instagram too, because there's going to be a nice video on Saturday.
Tables have turned.
You are still at mercy for the next 4 hours, my friend.
My bad.
4 hours and 20 minutes to be exact.
Sorry.
So you are still the butt of any joke that we were going to have.
God.
It's your birthday.
And this turns so quick back on me.
It's going to do that, man.
What was episode 2 called again?
I'd rather not go there.
No, we love you, man. You do a great job. You know, we couldn't ask for a better person to work with. But we don't want to get too mushy on you because you're like, aw. We don't want to go there.
Well, I appreciate that for what it's worth.
We're slowly picking away at Nick, trying to find out just how deep that skin is. Me and Patrick have, we've clawed at each other for a while enough, and with the I guess maybe the military veteran background or whatever it is, we talk brutally towards each other, and we're finding out that Nick can handle it.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. The fact that the way, and not just the way you and I pick on each other, but veteran banter in general, when it was proposed to us to do an FM radio station.
Oh, God.
What is wrong with you?
Is there going to be a time delay? No.
No?
Uh-oh.
Well, and now we have one, so Nick is able to filter the interviews when we're live that can time delay and do the proverbial beep. So thank goodness for that, especially in Babe's episode. But he's real. Babe is real and raw. Yeah. You get what you get, and, he's proud of it, and I'm proud of him. I mean, he's a great dude. So, it is what it is. But, just talk myself in a circle. But yeah, no, they were talking about, doing this on FM radio. And I'm like, I've heard of the FCC. I don't know if I like this idea. I know how we joke with each other. Now you want to put a microphone in front of my face?
And who's paying the fines? That's important for me to understand is who's paying the fines.
Well, here, you can hear it in the background. 4 weeks in. We're doing good. I think we got this down now. So anyways, you're going to want to check out the 9/11 episode. Where are we at on the schedule here? How are we looking? We're doing good?
We are doing good.
Okay. So let's talk about a couple things, and then we'll take a quick break. Okay. So we've got, if you want to get your fishing tournament, so let me preface this. So yes, I got bit by the bug
Not ashamed to admit it. Absolutely in love with bow fishing. I blame you.
That's right. I'll take it.
And
I warned you. You've got to be careful with this sport because it's going to involve a whole lot of things that I already know you enjoy. You get to be interactive.
Yep.
You're moving around. You're talking. There's music.
It's almost like operating.
Yeah, I just knew that you were going to enjoy it before you went on, and I know where this sport has taken my life. And
it's going to take me broke, but I'm okay with that.
It's expensive. It's fun, but I was hesitant on taking you, just knowing that when this bow fishing bug bites, that it's hard. It's hard. So
yeah,
and you're in it right now.
I always said I don't have an addictive personality. I am completely wrong. That proved me wrong last night. I even told Rachel when I got home, I said, I've never had so much fun in all the years. I love fishing. I love hunting. I love competitive sports. I love playing sports. And you just put all that in one fun basket for Mr. Patrick? Yeah, dude.
Most of the morning was spent with, okay, Matt, what do I need? And I'm like, okay, well, we can set you up a cheaper bow, an older bow. No. I need what we were using. I'm not going to say the name. They don't pay me.
Yeah.
But I need what you have. And I mean, we went through the full dive today of what it's going to take. I've been doing this for a long time. So when I invested my money into
we are
the
so
equipment,
off the topic, though.
What's the topic?
The topic was, so the bug bit me.
Yeah. And you're bit.
And I looked up to see if there were bow fishing tournaments because you were talking about the tournament.
There's none of those.
So we looked them up. Yeah, right. But what we wanted to point out is, like, look, we were able to find tournaments on Facebook and social media. Not just bow fishing, but fishing tournaments. Sure. If you've got a special announcement, if you've got a regular fishing tournament, anything tournament related you want to get your word out here that aligns with Back to the Lodge, give us a call, send us a message. Facebook, Instagram, or call up to the station, and we can get your event listed on the show. And that's anywhere in the nation.
And I know a lot of you guys, when it comes to this fishing right now, it's getting towards the end of your tournament season. So a lot of not state shoots, that's bow fishing again, but state tournaments are happening and club tournaments. Give us a shout out on our page, send us a message, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. We want to grow this sport of hunting and fishing. I feel like I missed a joke. They're both laughing. Was Nick picking his nose again?
He was 2 knuckles in.
Yeah, I knew it. I didn't even see it happen, and I knew it. Was it both hands?
No, just one. He used the other one to cover, but he was already busted. And I'm listening. We're talking, and I looked over because there's a monitor between you, and I cannot see both of you at the same time. So I looked over, and I'm like,
"There he is again!"
And I pointed, like, busted.
Nick and his patented.
You were meant for radio because TV would destroy you right now. There's no getting out of
I
that.
didn't think anybody was looking.
Do you think that we could have somebody Photoshop? Hey, listeners, if anybody's got some crazy Photoshopping skills, that picture that Nick has that looks like a glamour photo, I need that with him picking his nose.
Oh, we can find somebody. Somebody out there's got to be a Photoshop
Somebody
pro.
should be able to do that.
No.
The Nick Conder music, the black and white photo.
Yeah.
With the I'm a new country singer mustache.
That one. Yep. That's it. You can't see. It also, you can tell in that picture, even though you can't see his feet, that he's for sure wearing like ostrich boots and rhinestone pants, right? For sure.
He's a Kmart cowboy, baby. Oh, Lord.
Oh, God. That's good stuff.
And that's live radio for you. What happened to the farm? So, all right. I'll let you take a breather.
Thank you.
And put you to work. So let's give away some swag.
Yeah.
So, men's t-shirt. Well, no, it's unisex, really. So,
yeah,
t-shirt or ladies tank top. And I am emphasizing lady. Well, no, you know what?
No,
it's not because Matt wore the ladies Racerback tank top in pink.
I got a picture to prove it.
So your choice, winner's choice, t-shirt or tank top. Icy Tech t-shirt or tank top. Winner's choice, give us a call. 866-708-FARM. That's 866-708-3276. Fifth caller this time. Give us a buzz. You're listening to 100.9 The Farm. We'll be right back.
Get him. Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntington, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran-owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
You're listening to Back to the Lodge. 100.9 The Farm. We have some real interesting characters in here. So every time we go to break, right before we're about to come back, Nick, who's producing the show, gives us the countdown. And Matt has a habit of clearing his throat.
Very obnoxiously, intentionally. Yes. I'm going to try to not do it in the mic to blow your speakers, but it's something along the lines of...
It's awful.
You got to clear it all out.
So Nick gave it his best try to mimic and get even. No. So
mine was actually very much needed.
Yeah, yours was good, but I'm like, you guys are just, yeah. I can't even keep a straight face.
The fact that it's still surprising people that I do that, like my friends, like.
I just know we're going to be live in like 15 seconds when I start hearing you hacking a hairball in the corner in the middle of the night. I mean, cats sound better than you. Congratulations to Will Buttry from Martin, Tennessee, who was our fifth caller and won an Icy Tech t-shirt. Actually, you didn't even ask him.
No.
I'm sure he wants the t-shirt.
We can message him.
Okay. Yeah. We'll reach out to you, Will, when we call to get you set up, and you can pick between the t-shirt or the tank top. But if you were Matthew...
Hi.
I should have made you wear a tank top last night. That would make a great video.
I'm wearing a tank top right now. I wore a tank top. Well, I didn't wear a tank top. I wore a cutoff last night.
We're talking about two different tank tops.
Yeah.
It's not tight enough.
I'm wearing a whole lot of America right now, guys. Careful what you're making fun of. These colors don't run.
Is that shirt made in China?
No, I don't know. I got it at Target.
Somebody check his shirt. It's just like buying the U.S. flag made in China.
What's that thing say?
Rachel's got it. Well, where's it made? Does it say? It says he's wearing a whole lot of America. Probably look down lower where it says large or small. Yeah, there you go. It'd be on that tag.
Made in China.
Oh, come on, Target.
American flag tank top. Yeah, you're wearing a lot of American.
Looks America.
You probably get lead poisoning from the paint in the shirt.
Boo.
Before you come calling us out, I will have somebody in this studio called BS. Friends in low places.
That should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to make an American flag shirt. Not here.
Look, I'm not going to call out anybody on this one, but I'm going to tell you something that really irritated me. And when you start to get in business, or you're a business owner, nothing will irritate you more than false advertising from a competitor.
Oh yeah,
it's the most crude thing you can do.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, and trying to confront them is almost near impossible. The courts don't want to hear it. It's just not worth the juice and the squeeze. But there's a cooler company. We manufacture in Thailand. There's no secret about that at all. Thailand's a U.S. ally. The amount of homes and refugees that we save to reduce human trafficking, sex trafficking, and terrorism throughout Asia is immense. We don't manufacture in China. Look, some products are made in China. It's the only place they're made. We get it. I get it. That cooler's been made there for over 30 years. It started there. They invented it. We're not going to try to take credit for somebody else that they invented something. So, anyways, there was a cooler selling Trump coolers for President Trump. And it has a huge USA flag on it saying, "Make America Great Again."
I don't care which political affiliation you're with. The cooler's made in China,
Right.
And they cover the made in China sticker, which is required by federal law, with a U.S. flag. And there's other ones that says designed and engineered in United States. It's still made in China. But look, if you don't manufacture domestically, there's probably a reason. You know, don't shame or hide from it, because then I don't trust you, because you're already trying to deceive me. Look, our cell phones are not made in the U.S. There are cell phones that are made in the U.S. Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know.
They are stupid expensive.
Yeah. Are they good?
I don't know.
No.
I really don't know. But they're very expensive. Cell phones are subsidized.
Right.
They're made
Right.
overseas. But anyway, some products they come from overseas. They've always come from overseas. Dude, that was cool.
Slick with it, guys.
Pen flew off the counter.
I missed it.
He two-fingered caught it.
Wow.
And was like, chill, try to bring it back. Like, yeah, that didn't
Super
happen.
athletic, guys. Super athletic. That's what that was. Hand-eye coordination. I mean, you could argue that me dropping the pen in the first place was against that point, but I digress. You go back to where you were. I'm gonna sit back over here quietly.
No, I stopped when you said you're athletic.
Super athletic. I didn't say athletic. I said super athletic.
Nick's grunting again.
I know. That's all he ever said.
How do you do your morning show? The morning drive with Nick.
Do they hear you picking your nose through the mic?
It's the morning traffic report with Nick. Nick, how's the traffic look up there?
Yeah.
How do you are the host of the morning drive?
Yeah.
There it is. That's it. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I'm dead. I don't even know what else to say. This show is way out of control. I think that's the theme tonight, is out of control. In the words of the late Regis Feldman, it's out of control.
Oh, man.
I think we're just slap happy because we didn't sleep last night being out bow fishing.
Yeah, I'm chugging an
I don't know what
energy
Nick's
drink right
excuse
now.
is.
I'm drinking an energy drink at 8 o'clock at night. That's real intelligent. But I wouldn't be operating right now without one.
Think you're going to be able to sleep tonight?
I don't. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't typically sleep anyways, so
Oh.
I stay awake until I pass out, and then figure out what time that wakes me up in the morning, and try to do something again.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
You were a little late for work this morning. Now you start grunting.
That's what Nick does.
Yeah, but Nick doesn't have to be at work at our shop in the morning. Nick has to host the morning drive from his helicopter doing the morning traffic.
I got that first customer service call this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh no! Which, by the way, for people who don't know, I didn't fall asleep till almost 5 this morning from bow fishing. So, like 9 o'clock seems like you should be up and moving, and typically I am. But
you're usually up by like 4 or 5, anyways.
I'm always up. Yeah, I don't sleep, and I like mornings. Morning's my time. For people who have, loved ones, kids, wives, husbands. That's at least in my house. That's my quiet time. That's Yeah.
I always just say, man, I'll own a company so I can sleep until 10, 11 o'clock. So no, I don't. I'm up early. Meanwhile, on the hand, my better half, she gets a few more hours of rest.
I just got a message from Sisson saying he's ready.
What do you need?
It's almost time to.
Yeah, Derek just messaged me and said he's ready.
Yeah,
whenever we're ready.
Well, we got to wait till.
Yep.
We got to wait till window flops.
We're on schedule.
So yeah,
this is out of control.
Okay. Yeah.
It's your fault.
Again.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Just hit a button, Nick. Just hit a button.
Well, I can't yet. The windows haven't switched hours yet.
Oh. Well,
but
do we have the Jeopardy theme song? That's probably longer than 60 seconds. Anybody know how long the Jeopardy song is?
I don't know. I think it's until it. I don't know. I think you just loop it until.
Well, here. We'll just make it easier. We're going to take a break. So Derek can come on. Is that easier for you, Nick?
Yeah.
You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself. A belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon. We built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. Merica Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put in to getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
100.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge. Our second guest calling in tonight, the CEO and founder of Merica Bourbon, the man, the myth, the legend, Derek Sisson. Derek, how the heck are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate the love you're giving me there in Tennessee.
Well, the honor's ours, and obviously, you know, here in Tennessee, Tennessee's more of a whiskey state. Kentucky's the bourbon state. But we don't have a preference. Nope. We drink both. So the honor's ours.
Well, you know, they both come out of corn, so they got that similarity, right?
Exactly. It's vegan, right? We can.
That's right. It is vegan, gluten-free, if you will.
Gluten-free. See, I didn't even know what those words were till after I got out of the military. Nor do I really still care.
I still don't know.
So. Awesome. So, Derek, I mean, a lot of crap going on in the world right now, and, you know, we've known each other for a couple of years, gotten to know each other a lot better over the last year, and you're doing some pretty crazy and amazing things. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, you know, we started Merica Bourbon about 3.5 years ago, and basically the first year was mostly compliance, but we've really been blessed along the way. We're now in 47 states and 972 Walmarts nationwide, and most of the big retailers are carrying us. We have the best customers in the world. We have such a loyal fan base, if you will. And I wanted to produce a quality bourbon at a price that an E3 could afford. And if you guys don't know what an E3 is, that's a pretty low-ranking member of the military. And the other guys on this on the line here can relate to that, because I'm sure we all drank some pretty bad stuff when we were at the E3 level. So you know, we're really patriotic. I mean, we love this country, and as we mentioned off there, you know, I called it America because I believe America was already trademarked. And I thought that's how it was spelled.
That's the Marine in you.
You know, I wrote it in crayon. You know, what country I love best when I joined. They said perfect.
I'll be honest.
Sign on the bottom of this page.
You being a former Marine, I expect nothing less.
There you go. There you go.
But there's a reason you picked bourbon constitutionally over other liquors, and why is that?
Because bourbon's actually the only true American spirit, and that was Congress put that out there, I believe, in 1964, off the top of my head, 64, 65, to make it an official American spirit, and it's the actually only true American spirit, as I mentioned. You know, Scotch is from Scotland. You know, tequila's from Mexico. And so, you know, I mean, if you're going to call yourself America, you better have a spirit that is 100% American.
That's
and
awesome.
There's been wars fought over it, as we know, the Whiskey Rebellion over taxation during George Washington's time in office a little while back. But, you know, I like the rebellious nature of this country. And I like the fact that, you know, it's a spirit that actually war was fought over, so to speak.
Wow. Well, that's a pretty impressive story. I mean, just to go from concept to compliance to distribution in that scale that quick, I mean, that speaks volumes of the quality of the product.
I hope so. I mean, we worked really hard at the formula. We spent about a year working on the formula, and we feel we got it right. I mean, you could always improve what you're doing, which we're coming out with a reserve now. We're aging it a little longer. But, when I started the brand, I really didn't have, multi-million-dollar budget to lay down countless countless barrels of bourbon in a rack house. So, being a distributor before a brand owner, I had worked with a lot of brands, visited a ton of distilleries. In fact, I represented the majority of my brands in Texas that I represented came out of Tennessee. And along that way, I learned about several processes that could expedite the aging process of whiskey. And so that's the route I took. And it also pulls out a great deal of the impurities. And, people seem to like it. I mean, we kind of use technology to make a quality product and make it affordable for the masses.
That's awesome. I mean, and when you say affordable, so an E3 can afford it, I mean, even at E5, we were still drinking stuff cheaper than that. I mean, and
Absolutely.
there's been some days we've had some, I don't want to give them any credit here, but the old days of Mad Dog hangovers, so changing to something like Merica Bourbon was almost like getting a promotion in your own life. And it's like, wow, this is so much better than this other crap we've been drinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember going to the commissary and picking up bottles of wine that the label was done in crayon by a fifth grader, I believe. So, yeah.
I was thinking Boone's Farm when you said that.
What have you.
I bet a bunch among a bunch of Marines, those probably flew off the shelf.
They did. It was a highly relatable product, right? Wine, whiskey, yum, good.
Now, if you're listening at home, we make jokes back and forth, and people think, man, you guys must not like that guy, or Derek doesn't like you guys. That's not how it works. So if you've never been in the military, you've heard we have this friendly, we'll call it
banter
and jabs at each other, and it's all in good fun. It's love for the brotherhood and sisters that fought side by side, but we'll pick on each other and we'll make Marine jokes, and I'm sure there's going to be a Navy joke here coming up soon because I'm outnumbered, but
most of them I can't say live.
No, they're not appropriate for FM, so I'm a little safe there. But we'll joke back and forth, but the ultimate rule is if you've been on the outside and you're making a jab at another service member, we're all going to turn on you.
Yep.
So you definitely don't want to join in the fun if you've never served. But
that's a good point. That's quite valid, my friend.
I mean, and I think Air Force definitely takes the brunt of most of the jokes, as does the Coast Guard. But I mean, we've sat in places before, and somebody would chime in and make a jab at the Air Force guy, and the guy didn't even serve in the Salvation Army,
right?
And we're all going to lay into you at that point. So just so everybody knows, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
Derek knows, everybody, the military. We all know that it's coming from a good place.
Well, maybe you guys are saying that. I like that, but as a Marine, I don't feel that way about the Army. It wasn't any good fun at all on my side,
Well, and one of these days, when we're just maybe doing just podcasts separate from live air, we could probably tell some more of these jokes sometime when we're not censored by the FCC. But in any case, so American Bourbon's available at nearly every Walmart in the country if they sell alcohol. But another fascinating thing is you've got another product in the pipeline.
We do. We actually we have some real exciting news. One is, this is a good announcement. We have lowered the price on Merica Bourbon, and starting next month, depending on the state and their taxation, will range from anywhere from $19.99 on the shelf to $24.99.
Wow!
Of course, depending on the state and how many tiers they have in it. And then also we have a new home for Merica Bourbon. It will be in Galveston, Texas. Same quality product. We'll be shipping in barrels. We will also be aging barrels there, and there's going to be tours to be had. We're setting up a barrel program, and the location is right on the beach. So come down and visit us starting in October, possibly November, down in Galveston Island, Texas.
Oh, man.
I'm in.
So the new product we have coming out, we're actually doing Merica Rum, besides the reserve we're doing out of Galveston. where I have teamed up with a couple of Navy SEALs, as hard as that was for me to do. I won't announce the names yet because we're still finalizing some things, but we will be coming out with a rum from Galveston Island, done at Galveston Island in the fall. And what a better place to do it. I mean, it was a pirate colony with Jean Lafitte called Campeche. So he burned it down and escaped the Spanish and English authorities. And then in the 20s, it was the home of rum runners. And now why not a couple of, former servicemen, start doing a product down there and follow those kind of outlaw traditions, if you will.
Well, what a better choice to work with some frogs at potential pirate hunters, with rum being the center focus of it. And I think I know one of the guys you're working with, but I won't spoil it. I won't let the cat out of the bag. But they're great guys, so I'm definitely looking forward to that product.
As you know, Patrick, when you surround yourself, it's all about the team you put together, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Surrounding yourself with the right people. Hiring the right people. So one of the things I'm trying to do with Merica Bourbon is obviously, mentor entrepreneurship, after into active duty service, and also, hire the right people, formulate that team of veterans, non-veterans. It doesn't have to be a veteran. It can be, just folks that love America and want to give back.
And you just hit the nail on the head with something right there, giving back. As everybody knows, we're in the outdoor space, and giving back and being in the outdoors is something that I'm going to gravitate towards, and you're going to have my undivided attention. And that's something you do. And we talked about this back in January or February when you and I were out in Vegas. You're getting vets outdoors. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yeah, so when I started the brand, always just kind of come out of pocket, so to speak. And, I started a hog hunt. We have 8,000 acres I share with some gentlemen down in South Texas. And plenty of hogs and deer, wild turkey. Most animals you can eat or think of are available down at that location. Dove, dove season's ramping up now. But I started a hunt, and I take several probably 20 to 30 folks out of my community each year through the Recon Sniper Foundation. And we get those guys out. A lot of guys are suffering from PTSD and several other issues, possibly injuries that they sustained during combat. And we everybody seems to really appreciate the camaraderie, the chance to get outdoors and breathe, get out of the city, so to speak. And, putting their hands on a firearm once again sometimes can be a good feeling when you haven't done it for a long time. It's a familiar space for a lot of guys, but mostly the camaraderie, I would have to say, bringing people together. And I don't think there's any better formula for helping folks, and certainly with the suicide epidemic we have going on within the veteran community, is, reaching out to brothers and spending time with them, quality time, I should say.
Absolutely. And it doesn't hold more true getting guys outdoors. I've firsthand seen the effect that has on folks, whether they're fishing or hunting or sometimes even just camping during the off season and getting the old crew back together and just sitting around reminiscing. So, as painful as that can be sometimes, the therapeutic side of that, the effects are just tenfold. But Derek, let me ask you something. You didn't just all of a sudden one day after the Marine Corps pick up a rifle and said, I want to go hog hunting. Who kind of inspired you to get into the outdoors?
Well, I've always been an outdoorsman. When I was young, my parents decided to leave Houston and move to rural southern Colorado. So I grew up in the San Luis Valley, at a little town called Saguache of about 600 people. And if you've ever been to that part of the country, as you know, it's prime hunting, fishing area. So grew up fishing the streams and lakes in that area, elk hunting, deer hunting. And so it's always kind of been in my blood. And so when I got involved in this lease and got involved with the brand itself, I saw the opportunity to share with a lot of folks that one of the things that I love, which is the outdoors and experiencing the outdoors. And I just want to touch on something you said a little earlier about the camaraderie a lot of these guys that get out there, it's not necessarily the hunting, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that maybe they've been apprehensive about reaching out to the community again. But it does give them a chance to get with like-minded individuals, and some of them who are experiencing the same hurts and pains as they are. And you also have the opportunity in outdoors with these other folks to meet new people that have those same experiences in different parts of the country. So what's happened out of this hog hunt and that I put together is now a lot of these guys who met at the hog hunt, maybe they'll go visit somebody in Georgia who was there who has a hunting camp or lodge in Georgia. Maybe there's a guy who showed up who runs deep sea fishing charters in Key West. So it's all about networking and the unity of the whole thing. And the outdoor portion of it is the catalyst, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. And I think, you are following that model that we strive to be to a T, as far as being a successful brand, giving back, keeping your integrity, and doing the right thing. And I think, if more companies align themselves that way, it really would remove a lot of the problems in society today, if everybody thought that same way. And it's not to say, well, one way's right, one way's wrong, but, going out, working your butt off, building something and giving back to those in need is the model we strive for as a society. So, my hat's off to you, Derek. You're doing an absolute amazing job, and we're very proud to work with Merica Bourbon, and Merica Bourbon is a sponsor of Back to the Lodge. I can't stress that enough. But when we talk about getting outdoors and what we're doing, so the end of the day, when Derek's not, at the shop or sipping on a bourbon or whatever it may be, what's your favorite outdoor activity to do?
Well, I've been lucky enough. I moved to New Braunfels, Texas, so I am surrounded by some nature. I'm right here at the intersection, so to speak, with the Comal River and the Guadalupe River, 15 minutes from Canyon Lake. So I've really started I never fly fished before, but that's a new undertaking, and it's a little more difficult than a rod reel. I assure you. And it takes a lot more patience, but I'm learning it, and it's the good thing about it. It is getting me outdoors, and it is teaching me that patience. Maybe we all need, certainly, right?
Oh,
and fly fishing will give you the patience of Job if you've never done it before.
Have you played with tying your own flies yet?
I haven't.
I'll tell you what. When I got a pretty deep dive at one point into fly fishing. Mostly just topwater for bluegill and stuff like that. But regardless, when you start learning how to tie some of these simple flies, where it's something that you've crafted, and then from the fly fishing you've been doing, how much more intimate that catch is.
Oh yeah.
Now you step that up to a fly that you tied yourself. It's an incredible experience. It's awesome.
Yeah, I could see that. It is all, other than throwing a worm on there, right, or live bait, whatever you're fishing for, but the fact that you're, trying to catch it on a fly in its most natural element is I think what's the word I'm looking for? It's I don't know. It's just a great feeling when you do catch something on it.
Yeah, you're simulating nature, and you're becoming one with the environment. So, I kind of compare it to turkey hunting. I guess that'd be a good analogy. Most other forms of hunting, you're either doing the stalking method or tree stands, whereas with turkeys, you're communicating with them. You're actually talking to them, even though we may not understand, what that communication means necessarily. But when you're making that call and they're calling back to you, I kind of compare that to fly fishing. You're simulating their world, and it's just a more personal meaning to yourself and a deeper understanding of how nature really works. Versus, and there's nothing wrong with throwing the worm and bobber in there. We still do it,
yes, we do.
And it's very successful, especially for panfish. But yeah, I haven't even got into fly fishing yet, and you're light years ahead of me. But yeah, man, I think everything around you is doing really great work, and I cannot say that enough. If you're looking to, just on a Friday night, Saturday night, or heck, maybe even a Tuesday night, if you're looking for a good spirit to have, and align with what this country stands for in 500 Ways from Friday, that's Merica Bourbon. I mean, hands down, from the product to the brand to the name to the CEO to the company to the employees to the philanthropy. It is everything that we promote and strive to be. So again, my hat's off to you, brother.
I appreciate that. And I was listening when you're talking about calling the turkeys. And so I'm gonna be honest with you. I've hunted turkeys down at the lease, and the only thing I called was my shotgun because there's so many turkeys down there. I didn't have to call any; they're just so numerous. I just yeah.
Okay, so maybe you're a little spoiled then.
Calling, so maybe I'm gonna have to tie those flies as a punishment for that somehow.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Derek, let me ask you one last question here, and this is the big one. A lot of people are sitting at home right now, going through some hard times and trying to figure out how to get outdoors. And if you were to go back to your younger years and look back on everything you've done, what advice would you give somebody that's thinking about changing their life and finding their way in the outdoors?
I think the first step is just going out there, right? I mean, I think we've been so conditioned, in American society, being indoors, and people are now binge watching TV shows, and as you know, right, all these expressions like Netflix and chill and whatever that looks like. And I was blessed enough to have a father who took me hunting and fishing at a very young age. I remember getting my first .22 at 12 years old, and him taking me fishing for rainbow trout, 9, 10 years old. I think that's really the first step, right? I mean, as a family, now with COVID happening, what a great opportunity, right? I mean, we're distracted by so many things such as professional sports, and once again, it keeps you inside in front of a TV, right? Which isn't good for the waistline either. Yeah. So if you're a parent listening, the first thing I would say is just, hey, go get that Zebco fishing rod if they still make those, right? And, kids, all my memories my best memories of my childhood were outdoors camping with my family. It doesn't cost near the money, and you're instilling a wonderful memories and the same memories that they'll pass on to their children.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%, and I'm going to add to that because I'm thinking, listening to what your words were and wanting to kind of put a memo out there to myself, and that's that, not just to follow that advice, but I also think, maybe the single parent household where there's a young boy or young girl that wants to get outdoors, but maybe mom doesn't know how, or maybe dad doesn't know how, and have my own son or myself reach out to them and extend that open arm to give them an opportunity that maybe their parent is not ready to give them or doesn't know how. And that was just kind of a memo to myself. I'm listening to your words and I'm thinking, man, I need to step it up, but I also need to extend that to those that may not have that opportunity. Even if it is just one child at a time. So,
yeah, I love that. And the same thing happened to me. I mean, we'd go camping with my cousins. They would invite neighborhood kids and so forth. And I love what you just said. There's no truer statement than that. It's all about community. And I think once you get it in you, right, it never leaves.
Exactly.
There's something about nature and that kind of gives you peace, for sure. No doubt about it. And sometimes we got to separate ourselves from all the noise.
Well, and like I said, that wasn't to take away from what you said. It was perfect. But what you said inspired me to have a gut check and go, look, I need to do more myself. And I thank you for that. So, I mean, yeah, that was personal for me. I appreciate that advice. Derek, from growing up from Texas to Colorado to Force Recon Marine to CEO of Merica Bourbon and getting in the outdoors, our hats off to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, brother.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I really appreciate you guys having me on, and we do sell online, so if anybody's looking to, not in every state, but majority of them, so if you want to purchase online, you can go to www.mericabourbon.com without the A, Merica, and we also have home delivery on there with Drizzly in participating states, and they can have that bourbon to you to your house in 60 minutes or less.
Well,
and also too, they can follow you on social media. What's the social media pages?
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me at Merica Bourbon on Facebook, and Instagram, Merica Bourbon, and my personal is Recon Houston on Instagram.
Well, there you go. The man, the myth, the legend, American Bourbon. We've got a bottle up here right now, Derek, and we're about to crack that sucker open. So thank you for everything. You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm. We'll be right back. Stick around.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon, we built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. Merica Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA, available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
Get over. Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
100.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge. So now you know a little more behind the scenes of what American Bourbon's all about.
Love Derek.
He's such a great dude. But even more so, great product.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was needed to happen. People needed to know more about the Merica Bourbon ad, to have Derek on. That was pretty cool. And he is a busy dude.
Well, and sort of tie in what you're saying earlier with that certain cooler company that was sort of using the flag to mask who they are. Mm-hmm. What's awesome about Merica Bourbon is it's not just the name that makes you think that it's represented to this. It actually is. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see some people actually representing that flag. So
I think, and not just that, but I mean, I learned from Derek in the past recently, that bourbon is actually a recognized spirit of the U.S. government.
Yeah, and I didn't know that.
The only
I did not
American spirit. So I thought that was pretty neat. I would have thought for sure. Well, I guess whiskey and all that comes from Scotland. So
yeah,
Scotch. So.
I didn't know that bourbon was the OG of America.
Yeah,
I did not know that. And that was pretty cool.
I mean, Rachel knows. She's from Bardstown. Who would have thought there was so many bourbon companies in one little town in Kentucky? But no, it's pretty cool. And if you ever get a chance to go up there in Bardstown, Kentucky, there's a ton of distilleries there. And it's kind of amazing. There's a lot of big names. I mean, everybody, Jim Beam's not far from there, Maker's Mark, Heaven Hill. There's just so many of them. It's like one after the other after that. So something good in the soil there, I don't know. But I'm sure there's a reason. But yeah, that's, Derek he's on to something. He's definitely working. And the first time I actually saw Derek, with the bourbon stuff was when he was on Sean Hannity with Fox News. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It must be pretty good. So then I tried it, and it was even better. So we'll have to crack that bottle open tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So last week was barbecue sauce.
Yep.
That was a plug.
Now it's getting sauced. See what I did there?
Where's that drum rap there? Yep. There. Where's Frank when you need him?
Yeah.
So, cooler time?
Cooler time.
It's cooler time.
That's not we can't get in trouble for, copyright, are we?
cooler time. It's not.
No, I think
something
we're
else
good.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're good. Yeah.
So, 5 minutes. You got your stopwatch ready, Matt?
Give me a minute. Let me get her going.
Get that smartphone going there.
All right, buddy. I'm ready when you
got
are.
The 5 minute counter ready.
I'm ready.
All right. My thing cleared, so now I got to go back to my.
I'm gonna start this as soon as you say the name.
All right. The phone number. If your name is Melissa Kraus Soria, you've got 5 minutes to call. 866-708-FARM. 866-708-3276 for liking and sharing our post. You're listening to Back to the Lodge. You got 5 minutes.
IC Tech now has tumblers and apparel. Check out ictech.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntington, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your IC Tech coolers and accessories. IC Tech, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran owned and operated. IC Tech, USA.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool them. Now, for all the work you put into getting this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
You're listening to Back to the Lodge. 100.9 on the farm. Nick, what in God's name was that noise you just made?
Pterodactyl?
It was like a peacock getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You guys crack me up. Like, if you think we have fun on the air,
Yeah.
you should hear behind the scenes when the music's playing.
I'm glad that doesn't get recorded.
Yeah, because people would have seen you spray yourself with contact cleaner a few weeks ago. That was epic. It's not canned air. No, Sherlock.
I'm sure there's warnings all over that can that I just bypassed when I did it.
Not to mention the can's red.
Well, whatever.
Stranger danger. What a disappointment. Well, speaking of disappointments, unfortunately, Alyssa, if you're listening, which you're probably not, because if you were, you would have called in to claim your cooler. So, I think we're going to push this on to next week.
I think we should. Keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So next week, we'll have a post out there. Like and share the page and the post. Let us know that you shared it. Give us a thumbs up, a done, head nod, or, actually send a Giphy of somebody picking their nose.
Is that how you say that? Or is it just GIF?
I don't know. Well, it says Giphy on my app, Gify. A GIF is an image.
I don't know. I've never heard Giphy before. Have you ever heard that? I don't know that that's not what it is. I have no idea.
And it could be completely correct.
Yeah, I have no clue. Somebody will correct us.
Because doesn't GIF stand for like graphic?
I don't know.
Information
stands for
file
picture that moves.
No, .gif, GIF used to be an image.
Yeah.
.gif. So a GIF is GIF. Then Giphy was an app at one point, GIFY, and that was like this little video cartoon.
I think mine says Y too. I really do, but I've just never. The way you said it was weird.
Giphy, like Jiffy. There's a plug for peanut butter.
I was thinking the same thing.
I love when you hear people talk about memes, and you get somebody when it first came out, they're like, "Oh, that's a meme.
Yeah,
that's a meme."
Mine just says GIF, right there next to the where you type. I don't know. Like I said, I am no expert in the sub. I just never heard anybody say that.
We are the generation that learned how to program VCRs.
The fact that I can even use this phone is amazing.
I mean, you were using it to map our fishing routes and lines yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. I mean, bow fishing, I don't care how deep the water is. I can see. If I can see, it's just what I can see. I don't care if it's 8 foot deep, whatever.
Mhm.
So all I need is a GPS. And
Don't you remember those days when you used to take like ACTs and SATs and the teacher said, "You'll never have a calculator with you the rest of your life everywhere you go."
Or you had to buy the $200 TI 87 plus X, Y that
I'll never forget. It was the 83 and the 83 plus or the 84. Oh,
you had to buy that, but now my phone does more than that.
Yeah, it does your homework for you.
Right.
I'll be honest. The ones we had in school, they had games on them. So I would sit through school.
What had games on them?
The TI calculators.
We had to program them in there.
Connect them to somebody else.
Well, wait a minute. He was just in school a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was over a decade ago for us.
I'd be sitting through math class and just playing like Snake on it.
Playing. Never mind.
Have you never heard the game Snake?
Yeah. Yes, we have.
Wow.
I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it.
You're not touching it.
You're not.
That's probably a safe bet.
Oh.
Like we said, out of control.
Well, sorry for running that one into the wall.
The wall, the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we apologize to the regular subscriber listeners that we're hoping to hear Johnny Cash.
I think at some point people are just going to start listening to this for the train wreck.
Yeah.
They're just standing on the edge of the tracks, just hoping. Guys, we will get this.
Somebody has the FCC on speed dial and is just waiting.
We will get this figured out. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. Maybe this is what we are.
Are we supposed to put forth effort?
I don't know. I'm just here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course we are, but the look on your face. God bless you. With radio, they just have no idea how messed up you are.
They'll learn as these videos and stuff start coming out. They'll figure it out.
Well, and that's why we talked to Nick. We do have to start getting some sort of cameras in the studio. Or maybe we just need to put it like on Zoom. So like when you're talking, it just automatically pans to you. But then again, when I'm talking, that's when some of your best faces come out.
I think the grand scheme eventually is that there's 1, 2, 3 cameras in here that we can then upload these videos.
So I think you need a fourth one so you can see the audience behind us. We get some eye rolls back there too sometimes. Yeah, I heard that.
Well, Nick, how you finishing up your birthday tonight, bud? What are you doing?
Oh man, what am I doing? Probably
buy some Kleenex.
What?
What?
So we can stop using that finger.
Oh, buy some Kleenex.
Buy some Kleenex.
I thought you said Visine and Kleenex. I'm like, what?
I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's a different topic.
No. I'm probably gonna go home. Probably get on Facebook and thank everybody for the birthday wishes and call it a day, man. It's been a great one.
Yeah, it has been a great day, and what a great cheesecake.
For real,
awesome. It was the nice highlight finish to everything in the meals and in the show and the birthday.
Oh, and come on, before we get out of here, dude, we got to have that Merica Bourbon shot.
Oh, absolutely. We'll take a picture. We'll post it next week for everybody.
Yeah.
Give Derek a little shout out so everybody can find his bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
So I know everything's out of control. And you said, all right, so Melissa didn't win the cooler.
But what her loss is potentially somebody else's gain.
Next week.
Right.
But I mean, it's only 8:45.
Well, and we also had an idea. We're not going to say it publicly yet, but something that you may want to be watching our Facebook page for during the week.
Fire drill.
Yeah, fire drill.
We'll
That's what we'll call it. Fire drill. Another opportunity, from the great giveaway show that we are. Just stay tuned to the Facebook page. Might have an opportunity to get something else.
Yeah.
I may have to get some Mossy Oak swag too.
Yeah.
And some Merica Bourbon swag. That'd be kind of cool.
Definitely.
Mix this up a little bit. I mean, not that I'm not in a giving mood. But giving's getting a little expensive.
And we need some, you know what we need from anybody listening that has that creative touch is we need some
Photoshop.
back to the lodge swag. So if somebody's got a design touch where they can try to design us, we've been trying to think about, what would make a good looking t-shirt, something like that. So if somebody out there would,
we've got a logo, so we definitely need some artwork. So if somebody, however you perceive the show, I'd be curious. I would rather get artwork from a listener.
Me too.
Than, using somebody in the staff or paying somebody to try to design something, even though they may, and most of them are pretty creative at what they do, but I'd rather it be coming from a listener. I just think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like that guy or that gal put that artwork together. I just think that's cool.
But it is a conversation we've been having here fairly regularly is getting some type of back to the lodge swag, whether those eventually become giveaways or if they're just, for different events. But we need, look, me and Patrick and Nick are many things. Digitally creative is not that thing.
Not even
graphically
close.
Creative, I guess would be the word.
I have a guy for that.
Yeah.
He's a great dude.
He's doing a lot for us already.
Yeah, and we're going to keep him busy.
But
we're going to take a quick break. And I want to point out, we're going to have there's a message from the sponsors, but by popular request from last week, which stemmed from 2 weeks ago, is Nick's song, Sipping on Memories.
Oh.
So we got it in the lineup. We're going to take a quick break. And after those ads, you're going to hear Nick's song. And it's a great song. Check it out on Spotify and iTunes.
Yep.
And all the major platforms because he's just cool like that. And I'm going to try to snatch another piece of that cheesecake.
Do it, man.
You're listening to Back to the Lodge on 100.9 The Farm.
Get him! Woo! Look at there.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
Usually right about now, we'd be playing some music, but due to restrictions and copyrights, we can't allow music to play. So if you'd like to hear music in between breaks, tune in every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Central and hear us live at backtothelodge.com. Click the Listen Now button and you'll be back to the lodge.
This country was born to believe in something larger than itself, a belief that the citizens within it could accomplish anything. From defeating an empire to sending a man to the moon, we built cities, formed the land, and through this an original spirit was born. It has forged friendships, been celebrated, and at times been the cause of debate. We might not always agree, but there is one thing we can all agree on: love of country and love of a fine bourbon. Merica Bourbon, vet-owned and made proudly in the USA. Available nationwide at most leading retailers and at americabourbon.com.
100.9 The Farm. We are back to the lodge. Well, episode 4 is in the books. We're a month in. What a ride. It's just, if you could imagine what we expected and what it turned into, not even close.
Right.
Truly grateful. Truly grateful. We want to make a point. We want to have laughs. We want to share laughs. Matt and I joke and clown. Nick's catching on super quick. We want to have fun and let people know, look, you can get outside. You can find a lot of peace and a little bit of a break in your day to just get outdoors. Go hike. You've heard so many stories from so many people. Whether you get out there hiking, camping, fishing, walking, biking. You've already heard all of those ends from 3 different corners of the continent already. So until next week, ask yourself, what are you grateful for? Live from 100.9 The Farm in Carroll County, I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Nick.
And we'll see you next week when we head back to the lodge. See you then. What was that?
Ready?